Hey WordNerds, I'm vlogging while standing. One of my many talents. Apologize for the poor lighting and if I'm like kind of looking all over the place. I am vlogging on my phone and it's weird and I don't like it, but here we go. I am probably going to make this video about 1,000,000 times over because it's a subject that I haven't talked about on video for very much. Maybe it's come up in a few live chats, but it's not something I've made a specific video about. And because it's not a subject that most people want to talk about, and I think that's crap. The more writers I talk to, the more I realize that so many of us suffer from some form of mental illness, whether it's OCD or bipolar disorder or anxiety or depression. A lot of us have something going on. And I'm beginning to suspect, and recently had this confirmed by somebody actually in the profession, that the creative brain is strongly linked to these types of mental illnesses. So if 1 in 5 writers has this type of thing, why are we not talking about it more? Why are we still ashamed to talk about it? I have dealt with anxiety and obsessive thoughts for years by myself because I didn't want to think of myself as having any kind of mental illness. I didn't want a diagnosis because that would make it real, and no one wants to think of themselves as crazy. But then this thing started getting in the way of my writing and my productivity, and that was not acceptable anymore. Even on my good days, I'd be in this state of like perpetual low-key anxiety. It was making it impossible to focus. And this was at a time when I first started to get deadlines. I wasn't just writing for fun anymore. I had to have writing turned in by a certain time. So there was no off days. I had to do it. And anxiety for me is not something that just goes away. It's like that terrible roommate that won't move out. Sometimes he's trashing the apartment and setting your curtains on fire and he's really up there and in your face. And some days it's not so bad, but you still know that he's sitting on your couch in his tidy whities eating potato chips. You can see him out of the corner of your eye. You can hear him crunching away. And you know it's only a certain amount of time until he gets back to being super destructive and messing up your crap. So I finally got sick of doing this on my own and I decided to get help. Finally made an appointment to get officially diagnosed. I don't know why I did air quotes because yeah. I am now the proud new owner, officially, of general anxiety disorder, among other things, potentially. But I already knew that. So this was a weird couple of weeks for me. I saw a therapist for the first time, and I mean, the whole thing was weird and kind of scary, and I was actually having anxiety over being in a place to talk about my anxiety, which is just, it's like anxietyception. That does not work. That's not a thing that works. But you know what I mean. It was like anxiety, about having anxiety. Too many. Anyways, I've only been to 2 sessions so far and I'm already learning quite a bit about both myself and ways of coping with my issues and actually focusing on my writing, and it's really been helping so far. I was going somewhere really different with this video originally, like a how to write in spite of anxiety type of video. But I'll be honest, I'm still struggling. And I know that a lot of writers out there right now are struggling with it too. So I think the takeaway from this should be, you are not alone. You do not have to go through this by yourself. You shouldn't feel afraid to talk about it. I mean, you don't have to go making a video about it and posting it for the whole internet to see. Like, who does that? But definitely don't be afraid to get help. Go to a doctor or see a psychologist or just tell a friend to start off with. Mental illness is not something you can just brush off, and it's not something that you can deal with by yourself. And you shouldn't have to. Nobody should be made to feel too ashamed to talk about it. Because you know what? You're not crazy. You know what is? Trying to do this alone. If you're suffering from anxiety and you want to talk to someone about it, I'm going to leave a few links below of helpful suggestions and or places that you can find someone to talk to. So yeah, my fellow writers who may suffer from mental illness, you are not alone. Fist bump of solidarity. Oh yeah, there's this whole screen thing. Imaginary high five. Don't forget, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, the WordNerds have our live chat and we would love to see you there. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next week.